Want to watch this video without any ads for free? Hit the link in the description on my Patreon. Costs you nothing. I don't get paid from YouTube ads anyways. On to the video. All right. So this is the Duskbloods gameplay. I saw somebody was reacting to, like, giving their thoughts on it, and this Ouroboros rather, is one of the guys that was invited out to Japan to try.
Oh, I know about Ouroboros, yeah. Him and Vati both got invited, so yeah.
So I haven't had a chance to. I haven't seen anything.
And if I'm correct, they were in the same lobby together, so yep. Because he was actually showing footage of his play.
Got it. Okay.
First look at the Duskbloods gameplay. This gameplay is not my own. It was provided by From Software. Now, I was fortunate enough to get invited by Nintendo and From Software to their offices in Tokyo, Japan, to get a chance to play the Duskbloods early. I got to play the network test version of the game for about 10 hours. In this video, I'm going to go in depth and explain every last detail of the game and my opinion on it.
So, firstly, it looks like this character when he bites somebody.
Okay, that's all characters. All characters can do that. They have a roar, which is like a riposte ability, and then it puts them in a state where you can bite them and it transforms them.
Don't spoil it for
PvP.
me. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there, but that's what you're like postulating, and
you're just
like,
telling me wrong. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Vet since Demon Souls in 09. Let's start by answering the question, what type of game even is this? Well, the Duskbloods is a multiplayer action PvPvE game, and if you had to define the genre, it's closest to a battle royale with some roguelike elements, but honestly, this game is so incredibly unique that it's impossible to define it to a single genre. Each match, or Dusk Battle, features 8 players and lasts about 30 minutes. You have infinite lives until the final round, but there are eliminations based on points. These points, known as Virtue, can be earned from multiple different ways, including exploring, PvE, and PvP. The objective of the game is to get as much Virtue as possible before the time runs out and make it to the final round, the Blood Bestowal.
So it's also an extraction type of game.
Similar, somewhat, but you're not really trying to like leave with stuff. You're trying to just do as much as possible, like Night Rain. Think Night Rain, but PvP.
Clock every second counts. You can choose from multiple game modes: solo, solo without alliances, or duos. There's also a ranked mode available in the full game. There are going to be 3 maps in total, but the network test only features the one, Loranro City. Characters in this game are called Bloodsworn, and there are over 10 to choose from, each with unique weapons and abilities. Please note that there are only 6 available in the network test. Now, throughout the course of a match, you can summon kin to fight alongside you, create alliances with other players, fight giant bosses called Trespassers, and power up your Bloodsworn in multiple different ways to prepare for the final battle. Now, there's a lot to go over and explain, but let's start by talking about Bloodsworn. Bloodsworn can level up by defeating enemies and earning XP, increasing their maximum health and attack throughout the match. Leveling up allows you to use their second, more powerful skill. Skills have infinite uses, but long cooldowns. Each Bloodsworn has their own unique weapons that cannot be changed. A lot of Bloodsworn get boosts to their spellbinding. When you stagger and riposte, aka drink the blood of a lesser enemy in this game, it will become spellbound to you and serve as a temporary ally. One of the Bloodsworn is able to extend their howl, and howling is an attack that can be done by any Bloodsworn by pressing L and ZR at the same time.
So it's like a you're right, it was like a riposte, like a parry.
This doesn't do much damage, but it does a lot of stagger, allowing you to instantly stagger opponents with a high stagger gauge. Now that we covered...
Now, this woman in the hat, I think you'll like the most.
Okay. Zork looks dumb as shit.
Oh, yeah, no, but he's like a rocket. You'll love him. He's hilarious.
The basics, let's go over each of the 6 playable Bloodsworn in the network test.
Also, notice that Jan is in his pajamas.
Yeah, I did notice that.
He's in a onesie and a fucking helmet.
He's the one that carries around a giant fuck-ass axe, right?
Yeah, like the Hunter's axe, but in its like first form transformation.
Duskbloods, also known as Albert. He uses a saber and SMG and can do a unique follow-up slash after shooting. His first skill is Bloodblade, which is similar to Bloodblade in Elden Ring. It can be charged for more range and damage, and it's really nice to just throw out from range or after a combo. His second skill, Light of Aearn, is the super laser beam he can cast out of his hand. Think Comet Azure, but you can slightly move it while casting.
A little small.
Does a decent amount of damage and knocks players down
It's
when it
meant
lands.
for, like, I'm betting, like, stagger kind of attacks. Like, you knock somebody down and then hit them with the laser, like, as they're going into the falling in animation.
Right. Where the fuck did it go there?
He has two passives, which are called aspects. His first aspect is High Loric Blood, which gives blood-based skills additional uses. The second is Upriser, which increases the stagger of your attacks against Bloodsworn with High Virtue. This is a super cool passive because it means if you're behind in the match, someone with higher points than you is going to take more stagger damage. You're going to be able to take him out a lot easier. The next character is Bloodhound Jan, a crazy axe murderer in his pajamas. He's also the Bloodborne character, and you'll see why very soon.
Okay.
He has his Bloodthirsty axe and uses Stone Sorcery for his ranged attack. His first skill, Blink, is almost 1-1 the old Hunter Bone from Bloodborne. And if you haven't played Bloodborne, you consume an item that super buffs your dodges for a time, turns them into teleports, and gives you extra range, speed, and recovery. It's insane. Now, this skill was super fun to use because it allows you to be extra aggressive and stay on your opponent. His second skill, Surrender to My Blood, is a huge AoE blood slam he does with his axe. It's similar to Malekith's Black Blade weapon art, Destined Death. I found it.
I like the pedal effect that makes. I will say I think that these maps are fucking gorgeous.
Oh, that's something I will not deny. Game's very well made. Looks really fun. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who will enjoy this game, but I don't do PvP.
That's fair.
Very difficult to land on other players, but when it did, it absolutely shredded them. His first aspect, Bloodhand Lineage, is literally just Bloodborne's regain mechanic. This means when you take damage, you can recover your health back if you can attack an enemy quick enough. This promotes aggression and is generally really strong if you can make good use of it without getting hit too much. His second aspect, Lord of Blood, heals the HP of your spellbound foes and boosts their attack power. The next Bloodsworn is Trang Lan. She uses her full moon blade for melee and range attacks. Her first skill is called Dark Moon, that makes her completely invisible.
Okay. Interesting, but
Now,
not something I'm in love with yet.
He will probably cover. Wait, you will probably cover what we're doing here. This is a Night 2 event that's happening. We will get to that.
That has a long.
There's a reason.
Casting time, so you really can't use it in the middle of combat. Her second skill is called Mama Nantha, and it summons a giant serpent that coils around her and lunges out of the opponent. It can also be controlled by holding a direction while casting, allowing you to do some crazy stuff with it. Her first aspect is Alluring Blade, which causes drinking blood to spellbind nearby enemies. Her second
interesting
aspect is Daughter
this
of
is where I
Dark
thought
Moon,
you might
which
like
makes it harder for foes to
takes
target
over
her.
multiple.
Next
makes dealing with trash mobs easier.
Is my personal favorite Bloodsworn, Sniper Layla. She uses her
This
guitars
motherfucker's kind of raw.
Say what?
I said this character's kind of raw. I like this character, but I just don't. Damn.
Sniper rifle. The guitars have very low range, but high damage if they connect. And the sniper rifle is extremely powerful and so much fun to use. You can even free aim with the sniper and look down the scope to snipe people. Her sniper shots also stun opponents, making them...
Alright.
You see why I like that character.
Yeah, the FPS players are going to like that one.
Very threatening and an incredible punish tool from any range. Her first skill is Nebra Vanishing, which is a long-distance teleport. You can use it to rush down opponents or get away from them. It's an incredible repositioning tool. Her second skill is Verd Gatling Gun. It does what it says on the tin. And honestly, it wasn't great if the opponent was paying any attention, since it has a very long startup and can be easily interrupted. However, if you get the opportunity to cast it and your opponent's low on health, it's incredibly powerful. Her first aspect is Nebra Lineage, which gradually restores her HP to 50% of your maximum. This is an incredibly strong passive, even though the regen is quite slow. Her second aspect, Night Eye, gives her longer range for lock-on and observation. Next is Senator Samir Patrez.
God, he sounds classist.
This is a rapier
he's a lizard,
and soul
man.
birds for his ranged attack. His first skill, Bloodstake, is similar to Briars of Punishment from Elden Ring, where it sends a trail underground towards your opponent
Think
and
Executioner.
explodes when it reaches.
Is it more Executioner or is it more like what's his name? Rogier from Elden Ring.
Reaches them.
Well, I'm thinking more Executioner because it's an ability you get, and it's like beast form.
His second skill, Saurian form, is the infamous dinosaur command grab. You literally transform into a dinosaur and charge forward, attempting to grab anything you touch. The charge is extremely fast. It does a ton of damage if it lands, and it yeets the opponent away from you when you're done chomping them to bits.
That's a funny PvP.
It's hilarious. The throw at the end of the grab can actually ledge opponents, doing even more damage to them. However, the skill can be easily dodged if you're paying attention. But even the threat of this skill demands constant vigilance from the other players. His first aspect, Blood Disciple, lowers the required Bloodsworn skill levels. And his second aspect, Unshakable Sword, makes your perfect guards boost melee attack power.
There's the Executor bit you were talking about.
Yeet.
Lastly, we have Zork, the weird rocket man.
He looks so fucking stupid. I love it.
He's so fucking funny, dude.
He wields an undersea cable and a spear gun. His attacks are very slow, but do tons of damage and have hyper armor.
He's a big daddy.
Unga bunga, unga bunga.
Yeah, watch this shit. Watch this shit.
First skill, Human Rocket, lets him hover in the air for a moment before propelling forward, dealing massive damage to your target if it lands. This skill can be used.
Love him so much.
Used without lock-on to just fly across the map. It also has tons of hyper armor and is near impossible to interrupt, so it needs to be respected. His second skill, Missile, fires a barrage of missiles in the air that home down on the target. The missiles put a lot of pressure on your opponent and do a ton of damage if they land. His first aspect, Law of the Deep Sea, allows him to steal maximum HP from other Bloodsworn when he drinks their blood. His extra HP is lost if they defeat you. I saw the power of this aspect myself when I saw a health bar stretch across the screen, wondering what the hell happened and who is this guy. Turns out it was Katao himself, the producer of the game, playing with us and absolutely annihilating us. Anyways, his second aspect, Dread Resonance, allows him to extend howling by holding down the buttons. So that's it for the 6 playable Bloodsworn in the network test. Each one is extremely unique and super fun to play. In the full version, they said you'll be able to actually customize your Bloodsworn. To what extent, I'm not sure. Now that we talked about Bloodsworn, let's move on to kin.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had a more refined version of the relic mechanic.
And we're also about to start talking about the kin mechanic, which is actually pretty cool in my opinion.
It's like summon spirits, right?
It's better than that. Just watch.
Kin are allies you can summon to aid you in combat. Unlike Elden Ring, these kin will follow you and assist you everywhere, including the final battle. The first thing you should do every match is run towards a summoning circle to make a pact with one. You can find summoning circles easily by the pillars of light beaming towards the sky. Kin level up alongside you, receive upgrades, and grow in power. There are also certain kin who get new attacks just by leveling up. Now there are 3 types of kin: Ring, Blade, and Eye. The type of kin you'll receive is shown by the emblem above the summoning circle. The exact kin summoned is completely random inside of their category. In the full game, there's going to be a way to summon the exact kin you want every match. You can summon other kin during the match, but it'll overwrite your old kin. If they die, they'll go on cooldown and you'll have to wait to resummon them. There are 8 total kin in the network test.
So that adds an extra. So like that adds like a extra. Like I hope there's like some level of like customization to the kin to like cater them to your preferred playstyle.
I'm pretty sure there's like specific kin to your playstyle that they've got.
Yeah. fuck, I might have to actually buy a Switch too, motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not like this is not worth selling my soul.
First, let's go over Ringkin. There's Baritone, the naked singing man who will buff you up with his beautiful singing voice. There's Undead Marlowe, who sprays poison everywhere. And then there's Nia, sister of the Briar, who wields dual swords and is generally awesome. Next up, we have the Bladekins. First is the Black Wolf of Moors, which is a wolf that has really low HP but fast movement and a really strong command grab.
Lovely.
Then there's Gunslinger Beatrice, who wields dual-wield pistols and fires tons of bullets. And Thaumaturge Avister, who uses pyromancy. Now we're on to the Eyekins. First is the Gargoyle, who acts as a healer. She was incredibly powerful and completely obnoxious. I always went for her first. And lastly,
Bitch on the
there's
ground.
Valentius the Unwise, who is a fat official who rides around in a chariot. He's incredibly fast, super tanky, and has an amazing command grab.
Interesting.
Now, Duskbloods is unique in that it allows you
So I take it alliances are like temporary
Friendships.
friendships, yeah.
to team up with other players mid-match anytime you want. This is called an alliance. You can propose and accept an alliance anytime before the final round. You can request an alliance with anyone you've seen in-game. After accepting an alliance, you will share half the virtue you acquire at a ritual site with your ally. More on ritual sites in just a moment. You can also teleport directly to their location using an item called the Fellowship Medal. You can also see their outline through walls and no longer be able to lock on or damage them. If you decide to break an alliance before the final round, you'll have to forfeit part of your maximum health to your allied partner. When the final phase arrives,
Okay, so there's actual meaningful consequences to it.
Yes.
all alliances automatically become void. If you don't like alliances, you can always select the no alliances option before matchmaking. Now let's talk about virtue and how to earn it. The objective of the game is to get the most points, aka virtue, and make it to the final phase, the Blood Bestowal. You have infinite lives until the Blood Bestowal, and the players with the least amount of virtue get eliminated at the end of later rounds. If you die, you lose a small amount of virtue, so you still need to be careful. You can get virtue in several different ways. You can obtain repulsion virtue by PvEing, flame virtue by just exploring, and virtue from completing your sigil. More on that later. You can also get virtue at the end of each phase through commendations. There are two types of commendations.
Wait, commendations like from other players?
Yeah, but real quick, these are flame virtues that what she got. These are they are randomly scattered through. Yeah, but the biggest thing is there's never a boss around them. It's always just a couple of mobs, and once you acquire it, other players cannot acquire it.
Okay, so it's first come, first serve.
Exactly.
Okay.
Bloodfang commendation for defeating the most enemies, and collector commendation for collecting the most items. The final and best way to gain virtue is through ritual sites. Ritual sites only appear at the end of phase 2 and 3 and spawn in random areas on the map. When you enter a ritual site, you are bound inside of it, and if you try to leave, you'll take a massive amount of damage over time. When you defeat another player at a ritual site, you gain sword virtue, and when you capture the territories, aka the Blood Pledge Pillars, you gain pledge virtue. There are about 4 pillars spread out around the ritual site, and holding them gives more virtue over time.
Comes in handy.
But you will lose some virtue when another player captures yours. When the ritual sites appear, there will also be 2 different kinds of stones that you can pick up to boost your virtue gain. Gold stone lets you acquire more pledge virtue, and red stones give you more sword virtue. You can only hold one of these stones at a time. You want to try to get as many kills and pillars as possible before the time runs out and the next phase begins. Each match has 3 phases. Phase 1 and 2 consist of all 8 players. At the end of phase 2 is the first calling, which eliminates 2 players with the least amount of virtue. This leaves 6 players left in phase 3. At the end of phase 3, 3 players with the least amount of virtue get eliminated. The final phase, the Blood Bestowal, begins with only 3 players remaining. Duos feature 4 players remaining, 2 teams of 2 instead. The Blood Bestowal can differ each match depending on certain factors. It can be a PvP deathmatch with 2 lives per player and the last player standing wins. Or it can turn into a co-op battle against a massive boss, Similar to Night Rain, this is the core of Duskbloods. I know it's a lot to take in and extremely confusing at first, but to keep it simple, the more virtue you have, the better. The type of virtue doesn't matter. It just helps understand where you got it from. Big number equal good. Also, the more virtue you have of the blood bestowal, the more health you'll gain going into it. I really love the virtue system because it allows you to play this game your own way and still succeed. If you want to just explore and kill bosses and PvE the entire match, you can do that. Will it be the most efficient? Maybe not, but I really like that it's an option.
I do like that because sometimes I don't want a PvP, and that helps me like make that an option.
Sigils are a form of character customization that you'll be able to equip and change in between matches. For the network test,
you were once an Inquisitor upon completion of the strategy. Blood note.
A great comment on Vati's was, this feels like a complicated board game.
It does, kind of. And I'm not against that necessarily.
No, this is like one of those like serious like sit down RPGs that you have to play like 12 campaigns of over the span of 3 months.
Or it's like Settlers of Catan, where it takes an entire fucking day.
Yeah.
Each Bloodsworn has a certain sigil, but in the full game you'll be able to change to whichever one you want. They enable new ways to gain virtue inside of a match and change how you play Duskbloods. There are a total of 4 sigils in the network test. The first sigil is Sigil of a Sworn Enemy. Now this one is fairly simple. Use perfume to find your sworn enemy and kill them anytime during the match. The second sigil is a Sigil of an Old Friend. This selects another player to be your old friend, and the objective is to find them, form an alliance, and make it to the final phase together.
Okay.
The third is the Sigil of the Eye of Moralis, which allows you to use an emote to find marked players and eliminate them. Now, the fourth and final sigil is the funniest and most interesting sigil of all, the Sigil of Love Ephemeral. The goal of the sigil is to find and propose to your lost love. You can find them using the perfume and offer them flowers, and if they accept, you'll become lovers and you try to make it to the final phase together.
Oh,
I just can't believe they did this. I love it. This is the best game ever. Finally, no longer maidenless. Anyways, moving on to Trespassers. Trespassers are boss enemies that you'll find throughout the map. Once you approach them, it'll automatically request help from other players in the match who can temporarily ally with you to help defeat it for virtue and upgrades. Once other players defeat or run away from the encounter, it will return them exactly where they were before they accepted. I love this mechanic. Trespassers are awesome.
Okay, so like you don't have to worry about PvP bullshit temporarily. You can just fight a boss.
Yes, watch, like it's about to show.
Going to fight one of these epic bosses and then suddenly a bunch of allies appear, all take it down together. It's such an amazing feeling. It feels like a mini Elden Ring Night Rain raid that just happens, and it's so cool. I can't get over it. There are several ways to upgrade your Bloodsworn. The first is through the power of blood, which is a blood rose that drops from defeating great foes or trespassers.
I'm gonna say this. I would fucking love it if this was an option for like instance co-op play in whatever the next Soulsborne-y type of game is gonna be. That's not not a giant PvP match fest like this, right? Like I would love
like a little like pop-off flare that you can do during a boss fight, and it's like instantaneous.
Yeah, and then like it sends out a thing to like people who are the closest player that's in the area, and it teleports them to your world.
Instead of having to do summon signs.
Right. It's like I don't know. It's like I feel like the summon sign. I would like it if I do think that they're probably gonna add they've learned from seamless co-op, and they're probably gonna do something like that similar in the next game that they do. Obviously, but I also think that a lot of other things could be desired in terms of like making, It'd work, I guess. I don't know.
This gives you the choice between 2 passive abilities that are randomly selected from a massive pool of possible passives. These can range from several things like more stamina recovery to more maximum health.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or even more weapon damage. The second way is through alchemy forges. These forges imbue your weapon and upgrade its damage. You can imbue your weapon with iron, lightning, flame, or poison. Iron boosts your weapon's raw damage. Lightning gives you an extra stun when it procs, allowing you to 3-hit combo. Flame procs do damage over time. And shockingly, poison poisons, which also does damage over time. After you imbue your weapon, you can increase the enhancement level by 1 per forge as long as the type matches your current imbuement. You can change your imbuement, but it will lower your enhancement level. You can check the map to see where alchemy forges appear to go search for them. Thirdly, you can grab small kin summoning circles that can spawn throughout the map that'll give your kin a huge level boost. And lastly, blood crystals can be used to enhance your bloodsworn skills. These crystals are found from blood sacks, enemies that run away from you when spotted, essentially the crystal lizards of Duskbloods. Once you defeat them and obtain the crystal, you'll get skill attack boost, cooldown reduction, more uses, or level requirement reductions. You can also check the map for blood sacks to see where they appear.
Nice.
There are also consumables you can find lying around the map. These consumables range from healing items to status recovery. You can also obtain consumable skills that'll allow you to cast a 3rd skill from your consumables. These skills are consumables, so they're limited in use. Let's talk about events. There are mid-match events.
A lot of Mirror and Zeppelin bearing the presence of Lord.
Yeah, this is cool. You'll see.
That will happen during phase 2 and 3 that can drastically affect the gameplay.
Think
There are 5
Shifting
England. No, think England when they were getting bombed by the Germans.
events total in the network test. The first event is the Prowling Sword Lion. This event spawns a blimp that hovers over the map. Each player gets a transmitter that they can use to call an airstrike down and instantly bomb everything in the vicinity, including themselves if they're not careful. Don't ask me how I know. The second event is called the Nearly Storm. This event randomly spawns lightning storms that strike the player and teleport them. The Blood Sack Gala is exactly what it sounds like. This event spawns tons of blood sacks in an area and allows you to power up your skills with blood crystals incredibly quickly. Star Fragment is my favorite event. This event has star fragments fall from the sky, and if you grab them and survive with them until the end of the phase, you get a massive virtue bonus. Other players can see when you have a star fragment and they will murder you for them. The final event is Dusk's Toll. This event requires you to climb the clock tower and ring the clock bell. The blessing it grants is diminished each time the bell is rung, but it enhances the effect of gold stones, which gives you more virtue when you pledge to a pillar during the ritual. The House of Night is the new hub area for Duskbloods. Here, you can queue up for a match, select your Bloodsworn, redo the tutorials, read the archive, or change system settings. These tutorials are actually extremely helpful, by the way. They put you in an environment with nothing but bots that allows you to learn the game at your own pace. The archive contains a ton of in-game information and lore.
A long time ago, Albert was human and he did not lack for ambition. He was impatient with the world and saw unfulfilled dreams and treasures, but when this led to an unbearable loss, his ambitions were recast as an oath and an aspect.
It also grows as you discover more about the game. There's also a training dummy in the courtyard with tons of options you can set to practice. Let's finally talk about the gameplay. I don't think there's a better feeling combat than FromSoft.
It also seems
and
this
this game
vampirism comes from like a choice that you're making, not like from a curse.
Okay.
is no exception.
So far from what I've been getting from all the stuff we've been reading.
Well, I've never bestowed upon Ratnam assassins the thought that the clan's first session for breaking away.
There's light attacks, heavy attacks, jump attacks, dash attacks, blocking, perfect blocks, guard counters, the usual. Night Rain players also feel right at home because they added surge sprint. However, they actually removed backstabs and backsteps. This makes complete sense given the fast pace of the game. Now you start off with...
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Backstabs would be kind of broken.
And backstepping is a little different.
Yeah. Because child acquired.
2 heals, but you can earn more by defeating various enemies throughout the map. Healing is slow and methodical. You have to choose the right moment to use it. It's just slow enough that if a player is near you and you try to heal in their face, they'll be able to easily punish you and interrupt your heal. As you may have noticed, there's now a huge emphasis on verticality. There's no fall damage and mantling, similar to Night Rain. Not only can you charge your jump, but you can quadra jump and even air dash. You can attack, shoot, and even use some abilities in the air. The map was clearly built with this verticality in mind, often having you jump over buildings and mountains to reach your destination. And speaking of the map, at the start of each round, you actually get to pick where you'd like to start. It lets you know how populated each area is by the density of the circle.
A la Battle Royale. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 4 quadrants.
You want to know the only Battle Royale that I loved? The only Battle Royale that I loved and I wish I could still play was Fallout 76's Nuclear Winter.
Yeah.
And so few people were playing it that they just took it out of the fucking game. That's my biggest gripe with the Fallout 76 team. They just don't leave shit in. Like, they just remove content. Like, there was this caravan mechanic where you could run your own caravan and upgrade a caravan company. And they just ripped it out of the game because not enough people were engaging with it. And I was pissed because I had barely touched it and I liked it. I just was, getting some other stuff done. I don't know, man. It's just that was an entire tangent that had nothing to do with the Duskbloods, but yay, Battle Royales.
And it may even place you elsewhere if it's too crowded. Each area has a specific item that changes each round, making a dynamic experience that will send players to different places depending on what they want. For example, one area might have exploration virtues one round, and the next it'll have weapon upgrades instead. Another huge feature is that you can pull up the map at any time during the match and fast travel to designated areas. This makes traversing these giant maps a lot easier. In Duskbloods, there's a visible stagger bar for each enemy, including yourself and other players. When an enemy's stagger gauge becomes full, they become temporarily vulnerable to a riposte, which lets you drink their blood to deal massive damage and gain more max health. It also spellbinds lesser enemies, making them your temporary ally. Because of this, you should try to stagger as many enemies as possible. Even if players heal on you, their stagger gauge remains. As I mentioned earlier, you can use your howl to cause a massive amount of stagger damage and instantly stagger enemies if they have a high stagger gauge. If your stagger gauge is high, try to avoid getting hit, as it recovers naturally over time. A small
a la Sekiro.
Small thing I discovered is that your kin can actually riposte for you if they're nearby a staggered opponent. I can't help but think this game was inspired by Armored Core 6 PvP, with all the verticality and stagger system. Duskbloods returns to the 2-hit combo system, meaning if you get hit once, another hit is guaranteed. Compared to previous titles PvP, this is a whole new ballgame. Yes, there are some fundamentals that'll carry over, like keeping pressure on opponents attempting to heal or close to staggering, and roll catching players panic rolling out of your combos. But the game itself feels totally different. It feels a lot more arcadey because of the dashing instead of rolling, and the insane amount of verticality you can get with quadra jumps and air dashes. You also have so much to keep track of. Your health, your stamina, your stagger gauge, your skill cooldowns, your kins. It feels like the game is going to have a tremendously high skill ceiling, which I'm very excited about. Something that I also noticed is that the weapons feel very similar in terms of speeds, which is a really good thing. This is because oftentimes the weapons in other games are just way too slow and way too easily reactable to even be viable in PvP. The exception is obviously Zork's Cable, but it has extra damage and hyper armor to compensate.
I wonder how much extra damage he's doing.
Probably like an extra 5%, maybe 10%.
Yeah, so not fantastic. The hyper armor is more important.
Yeah.
This game finally feels like they put PvP first. There was also some strange tech that we discovered that if you attack and time your dodge at a certain moment after you swing, it lets you dodge earlier and completely refund stamina. This was indicated by a bright white spark, and it was super hard to replicate. I'm not really sure what's going on with this, but I figured I'd mention it. Now, let's finally address the elephant in the room, the netcode. Unfortunately, I can't talk about the quality of the netcode because we're all playing in the same room. So obviously, for us, it felt flawless. It felt really good. But the true test will be the network test tomorrow. This is obviously my biggest concern for the game, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's my biggest concern too. FromSoft is notorious for like having kind of dog shit netcode.
This might be the one where they have finally learned lessons.
Because here's the thing. If they haven't, because here's the thing. Even if they had, even if FromSoft has fixed their behavior in regards to shitty netcode for their games, right? It's still on a Nintendo Switch, too. And Nintendo has an even worse reputation for its netcode. So it you know, this game looks great. Beautiful. Combat looks, you know, fluid, fast, and free. I mean, but the evil
it's a PvP game locked to a singular handheld console.
This game would have done gangbusters.
Oh yeah, if you released it on major consoles and PC with like crossplay, if they could get crossplay, that'd be crazy.
You know what I think? I think that Miyazaki had an obligation to make a Nintendo exclusive.
I think that's what it was. I think Nintendo kicked down not even FromSoft store, but Katakawa's specifically and said, "Hey, here's X amount of money. Get your developer there to make a game for us."
And the thing is that I think that this is Miyazaki using this contract as an opportunity to just fucking experiment.
Yeah.
You know, like they use Night Rain as kind of like a stepping stone to sort of like they had like lessons and stuff they were learning while they were doing this, and put them out on Night Rain so they could sort of like have something in the wider world that was like that. But I don't know. It's absurd.
Now let's move on and talk about the story. Unfortunately, it seems like they're saving a lot of the story elements for the full game, so I wasn't able to experience them at all. I also can't talk about the lore or the item descriptions, but trust me when I say they are FromSoft quality and will not disappoint. What I can talk about is their plans for telling the story. They'll be told through a system called Bloodlines, which can be progressed through certain events and character interactions.
It's the same as Remembrances from Night Rain.
Yeah.
I have a feeling this is going to be very similar to Night Rain. Bloodlines also tie directly into character customization. Let's talk about graphics and performance. The game runs at 1080p and at around 40 to 50 FPS from what I can tell with my expert gamer eyes.
While on a LAN connection.
Yeah. This isn't wireless.
Yeah, that is the big thing we got to keep remembering that this is not going to be played by the majority of people in the same room on either a close proximity or a LAN connection. They probably were playing this under the best, most optimal
Conditions.
And let's be real,
most people ain't living in the most optimal conditions to be playing games like this.
No. And as much as and even if FromSoft fixed their netcode issues, which big if, you still have the giant wall that is Nintendo's history of making shit online servers and services.
Yeah.
Which kind of leaves us in a kind of a rough spot, which sucks.
Actually, not sure. I would have really liked for them to reach a steady 60 FPS, but this is only just the network test, and they've already confirmed there'll be more optimization done before the full release, so we'll wait and see. As always, though, the art design is absolutely stunning. FromSoft never misses with how beautiful and unique their worlds are. The music was also incredible and tense. Everything you could expect from a From Software title. It was absolutely perfect, and I need the soundtrack right now. Now I want to talk a little about my experience traveling to Japan and visiting From Software's offices. When I first saw the email for this, I really thought it was a troll. I looked into it, and sure enough, it was legit, and I couldn't believe it. I still can't. I was one of 16 people invited out to this event, and it felt like winning the Willy Wonka golden ticket of video.
All right, I heard everything I need to.
Yeah, you got everything you need for the game.
Okay, so so where does this kind of leave us, right? I don't know. I think that the Duskbloods is going to be an interesting experience, obviously. But
do I think it's worth the price tag of a Switch 2? No.
Well, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm probably going to end up buying a Switch 2 sometime next year, any fucking way, because, I'm a slut for Pokemon. But
I am too, and I still won't buy a Switch 2.
Yeah, well, you're a stronger man than me. But we'll see.
I have conviction.
I'll have to, honestly, any Switch 2 game, I'll have to see how it looks beforehand before I go and drop, half a band on a fucking console, right? Yeah. Anyways. God, the combat does look great.
It does. It looks so smooth. It tickles that part of my itchy part of my brain that constantly wants to be moving around.
Yeah. All right. Obviously, the big thing here is fucking, it's on a fucking Nintendo Switch 2. It's console locked on on a console that has on a console family that notoriously has terrible netcode.
And it is notorious for being under one of the most scrupulous companies now that do not want you to have fun anymore.
No, anyways, I don't know. We'll see.
Nintendo regulated fun.
Yeah, you're the patented Nintendo experience, TM.
Yep.
Ugh. All right, we'll see what happens. Hey, thank you for watching. If you liked this episode of HIMediaTV, please consider joining our Discord. We have an excellent group of guys and gals and non-binary pals down in the description below. Would love to have you as a member. You can ping me incessantly asking your questions or tell me how wrong you thought I was. But we also play games, host events, get tournaments going for Yu-Gi-Oh!, the whole 9 yards, and we'd love to have you. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching HIMediaTV. I have been your host, Evan from HIMediaTV, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day, or night, or tormented existence. Time is flat circle and has no meaning. Go away.